be with you in a couple of minutes, guys. Are we ready? I'm feeling ready. I don't know about you guys, but here we go. Ritual of the Damned. And sorry about me, camera shaking. I haven't got me arm screwed on tight. So yes, Ritual of the Damned is here, guys. I hope everybody is well. Thank you very much for joining us both on Twitch and YouTube. Daniel, I'm pissed, won't spoil anything, but from what I've read, just sucks for lore. I'll be honest, Daniel, I don't read the lore. I'm a massive Blood Angel fan. I've got Blood of Baal. I haven't read it. I really struggle to read the lore. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at it purely from a gamer's perspective. So if you haven't seen the battle report on our YouTube channel already, go and watch it. There was one or two small things that were wrong. It was a new book. We didn't have that long with it, to be honest. Ian is painting more of his Dark Angels as we speak. And, of course, you can expect to see Dark Angels on the channel. Probably a little bit more now as well. As for the Thousand Suns, there's 2 games out now with Bryn's Thousand Suns on it. And I'm borrowing Bryn's Thousand Suns on Monday. So if you come back to Twitch on Monday night, we will be live streaming Thousand Suns versus Space Wolves. Now, if you missed the live stream, don't worry about it. We film a battle report at the same time, and that goes up on YouTube a couple of days later. So make sure you do follow us on Twitch if you want to see that live game. Let's go through this, have a read of it, see what the crack is with it, and basically if anybody's got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Ask away. I'm just going to configure the zoom on this because I've lifted my camera up quite a bit compared to when I would normally paint. So give me a second. There, I think that's a bit better. I think. But yeah, I'm going to go over the Thousand Suns stuff first, purely on the basis that I want to understand them a little bit better so that I'm in a better mind to be able to play them. On Monday, because I don't know them that well. Hopefully I'll do them justice. So for those of you who don't know, this covers Grey Knights, Thousand Suns, and Dark Angels. Dark Angels got the biggest update in here. Now I know a lot of people have seen the contents page and went, oh, they've got loads of stuff compared to the others. Yes, they did, but if you consider that half of these are just war scrolls from all of the new Vanguard stuff. Did it come with data card? Did what come with data cards? So, going straight into the Thousand Suns section, because, you know, I'm not looking at the Dark Angel stuff yet. Where are we at? Here we go. So, the Thousand Suns section. So, it updates them properly here, so they get Hateful Assault and Malicious Volleys, which is basically Shock Assault and Bolt of Discipline. So that's fully updated now as well. You can choose all the stratagems. It says here as well that these pages provide rules for Thousand Suns detachments to represent one of the following 9 cults of the Legion. And there's obviously 9 different ones here. And you can give everybody in the Codex access to these, apart from Ahriman, excluding Chaos Cultists, Zangor units, and named characters such as Ahriman. So that means Magnus doesn't get it anywhere. The book, did you get a separate data card set? You don't get data cards for 40k, unfortunately. That only comes in Sigmar. If you're on about the objective cards and stuff, no, you don't. If you order direct from GW, you get some. Do you? I didn't know that. Is this still on pre-order or is it out now? It's only on pre-order today. It's only on pre-order today, Jono. So it'll be out next Saturday. So for the Cult of the Legions, like I said, they all get access to it, apart from Zangor's cultists and named characters. The psychic powers, all Thousand Sons cult psychers know the relevant cult psychic power in addition to any other powers that they know. So you get that on top. You do know it, but you can't cast any additional. It's just an extra spell that you've got access to. Mark on Twitch says, yes, same as you did with the Blood Angels one. I didn't even know you got them with the Blood Angels one. So there we go. A bit of a shame that they don't send it to us to preview, but there we go. So yeah, there's some Warlord traits and things like that in there. Yeah, so it's just got all the updated faction rules here. And of course, I'm going to go through the 9 cults. Bearing in mind the cults just give you access to a psychic power, a Warlord trait, and a relic. I don't know what's in the normal codex because I haven't got it. But if you build your detachments separately, of course, you can do these and choose a couple of relics. So the Cult of Prophecy psychic power is Divine the Future. Casting value of 6 if manifested, roll 1d6 and set it to one side. Until the start of your next psychic phase, you can use that dice roll to replace a single dice rolled for a hit roll, wound roll, advanced roll, charge roll, psychic test, deny the witch test, or morale test for a Cult of Prophecy. That's okay. It's a bit. I think that's a bit of a reference to Destiny dice in Sigmar, so that's okay. The Warlord trait, once per turn after this Warlord fires Overwatch, it can immediately move up to 6 inches as if it were your moving phase. So that's a little bit like Reckless Abandon for the Corsairs, if anybody remembers who Corsairs are. So there's that. Sorceress Arcana, when a unit within 6 inches of a friendly model with this relic is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can re-roll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 damage roll. That is not bad. That's not bad. I think it's okay. The problem is I don't think there's any massive hitting things like autocannons or las cannons. I know Bryn has an autocannon on his Predator. The Mauler Fate, the Forge Fiend will be okay to use it on. If you build a castle, I think that's kind of okay, because it essentially gives you access to a whole host of command points for every unit. When a unit within 6 of a friendly model with it, yeah, so you can castle up and that's alright actually. Cult of Time. Time Flux has a cast value of 5. If manifested, select an infantry Cult of Time infantry within 6. You can return 1 destroyed model from that unit to the battlefield with all of its wounds remaining, placing it in unit coherency. If the unmodified result of the psychic test was a 9+, you can instead return the D3 destroyed models from that unit to the battlefield with all of the wounds remaining. That's pretty good for Terminators and Rubric Marines, I think. The Warlord trait in a psychic phase, if this Warlord manifests a psychic power with a psychic test result of a 9+, this Warlord can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power that phase. Only 1 additional psychic power can be manifested as a result of this Warlord trait per phase. That's okay, because obviously what you do is if you do that, you make your Warlord cast that one. So if you do get the 9, you get your D3 back, and you get an additional power at the same time. I think that's pretty cool. Hourglass of Manat. The first time a model with this relic is destroyed at the end of the phase, return the model to play with D3 wounds remaining, placing it as close as possible to its previous position and more than an inch away from enemy models. I actually think that is quite decent. So, yeah, I like that one. Cult of Mutation. Warp Reality has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 terrain feature within 18 of the Psyker, then select 1 enemy unit within 3 of that terrain feature. Until the start of your next psychic phase, half that unit's move characteristics and subtract 1 from advance and charge rolls for that unit. It's okay. Touch of Vicissitude. I can't even say that. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this Warlord, An unmodified hit roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. So that's not too shabby. And then we've got Sorcerous Arcana, Exalted Mutation for the Relic. We've got add 1 to Strength, Toughness, and Attack characteristics of a model with this relic. That's alright. I think that's pretty cool to run on a Demon Prince. Yeah, I think that's alright, because your Demon Prince wants to be in combat anyway. So yeah, I think that one's good for a Demon Prince. What have we got next? We've got Cult of Scheming. Psychic Power, the Seeded Strategy. Has a warp value of 6. If manifested, select a friendly unit within 24. That unit can shoot and charge this turn, even if it fell back. That's pretty decent. Sorry guys, my phone's going nuts here with notifications. Alright, let's have a look. Whilst they are within 3 of this Warlord, friendly Cult of Scheming units gain the Disciples of Tzeentch ability. If such a unit already has the Disciples of Tzeentch ability, each model in that unit counts as 2 models. Alright, so they become Obsec, but if they already have Obsec, they count as 2 models. That's actually not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. I'm employing a caddy to take my Warhammer 40k books to matches. Fair enough, Dave, fair enough. I find that most armies you tend to need 2 books now, plus whatever rule book is or chapter approved is current. It's a night. I wish they would just update. Space Marines, you need 3 books now. You need your Space Marine Codex, you need your chapter supplement, and then you need Faith and Fury. That's annoying. Thankfully, I play a Blood Angel, so I only need 2. Anyway, Cult of Magic, Astral Blast. Casting value of 6, pick an enemy unit. The closest unit within 9 and visible suffers D3 mortal wounds, and each other unit within 3 inches of that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. The Brotherhood of Sorcerer's ability only increases the first range of this psychic power. So actually that would be 15 inches. That's pretty good. Bryn ran this actually. I think this is one of the better ones. So if you consider you've got Astral Blast on a Sorcerer, right? And then Smite or Doombolt, right? The Warlord trait, when this Warlord manifests a psychic power that inflicts 1 or more mortal wounds on an enemy unit, increase the mortal wounds inflicted on that unit by 1. So that becomes D3 plus 1 plus 2. That's tasty. And then when you add 1 to the psychic test, it means you're getting your powers off much easier. You can get a super smite off on the roll of a 10. It's hard not to choose the Cult of Magic, to be honest. It's really hard not to. Apostle Sven, good evening. It only comes with cards for the Dark Angel characters, Dave. Fair enough, I didn't know that. But still, yeah. What else have we got? We've got the Cult of Knowledge. Psychic Delve has a casting value of 6. Select an enemy unit within 18 until the start of your next psychic phase. When resolving an attack made against that unit by friendly Cult of Knowledge unit, re-roll a wound roll of a 1. That's pretty good because Thousand Sons don't have access to lieutenants. Also, this cult buffs don't affect Zangor units and cultists, only real Marines. Yeah, I did mention that at the beginning, Daniel. It also doesn't affect Aramin, and it doesn't affect Magnus either. Hello again, Artisan, no worries. Thank you very much for tuning in, Sooty Up. Hope you're well. Warlord trait. When the psychic test is taken for this model, you can re-roll dice rolls of a 1. That's okay. I'd rather just get +1 though, to be honest. And then the power. Model with a warp flame, or the relic even. Model with a warp flame pistol only. In Kaladin's Cry replaces the warp flame pistol. So it's range 12, pistol d6, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. It's okay. Cult of Magic have been so far one of the strongest so far, but the more players get it in their hands, more styles pop up. Sadly, this buff you still get. Yeah, I know. I think Bryn ran this one, and this was because he ran a Supreme Command detachment and then a battalion, and he had one of them running this, and it was quite good. So, yeah. To be honest, I think taking Cult of Magic and then the Demon Prince in Cult of Mutation to add one to his strength, toughness, and attacks is pretty decent. I like that. I think that's going to be pretty decent. Cult of Change. Cast and value of 6. Select an enemy unit within 12. And until the start of your next sighted phase, subtract 1 from the unit's leadership and attacks. That's pretty decent for -1 attack, to be honest. Warlord trait. You can reroll charge rolls for this Warlord, and he can shoot and charge in a turn in which he falls back. That's okay. Capricus Crest. Once per turn, when a psychic test is taken from a model within 18 of this, you can change the result of that psychic test as follows. If that model is from your army, you can change any roll of a 1 to a 6. And if the model is from your opponent's army, you can change any roll of a 6 to a 1. It's handy, but at the same time, you've got to roll a 1 to change it to a 6. It's just not as reliable. It's a 1 in 6 chance of going off, whereas if you take add 1 strength, toughness, and attacks, you've got a toughness 7 Demon Prince. Do you know what I mean? Cult of Duplicity. Sorcerer's Facade has a casting value of 7. Select one friendly Cult Duplicity unit within 6 inches of the Psyker, remove it from the battlefield, and set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. That unit is treated as having moved this turn, which means you can't do that and then pop the stratagem to fire again. Duplicitous Tactician. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, select D3 units, remove them, and set them back up again, basically. If you redeploy transport, all of the embarked models are redeployed. Perfidious Tome. At the start of the battle round, roll 1d6 model if a model with this relic is on the battlefield. On the roll of a 1, your opponent gains a command point. On the roll of a 4+, you gain 1. That's okay, but a 4+ to get a command point, that's pretty good in comparison to, say, Eldar with the Path of Command, who need a 6 to get it. So I think that one's pretty cool. So, Cult of Manipulation. Attempted Possession. Select an enemy character. It's got a casting value of 6. That unit suffers 1 mortal wound until the start of your next psychic phase. When a psychic test is taken for that unit, subtract 2 from the total. It's not good. Subtract 1 from attack characteristics of models in enemy units whilst they're within an inch of the Warlord. And Sothis Reflector. You can select an enemy infantry model with a leadership characteristic of 9 or less that is within an inch of this model. Select one melee weapon that enemy model is equipped with, and until the end of that phase, the model with this relic is treated as only being equipped with that weapon. It's okay. I don't think that one's very good at all. And then, of course, we've got access to 7 stratagems. Magistar. You can determine a Warlord trait for him. It is regarded as your Warlord, but not for the purposes of Slay the Warlord and things. You can give him another Warlord trait, basically. I think that's pretty cool. Which means you can technically spend that and give Ahriman his 3+ invuln still, even though he's not technically the Warlord. Infernal Fusillade. Rubric Marines are Scarab Cult Terminators can fire twice with rapid fire weapons if they remain stationary. That is pretty big. That's pretty big. Yoked Automata. Use this stratagem at the end of your opponent's charge phase. Select one enemy unit that finished the charge move within an inch of a Thousand Sun character from your army. One Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult unit from your army that is within 12 of that enemy unit. Wait there. Select one enemy unit that finished the charge move within an inch of a character. Any Thousand Sun character units from your army that phase. So select one Rubric Marine or Scarab Occult Terminator unit from your army that is within 12 of that enemy unit and not within an inch of enemy units can perform a heroic intervention as if it was a character, and when doing so can move 2d6 instead of 3 inches. That unit from your army must end that move within an inch of that enemy unit and not within an inch of any other. Otherwise, right, okay. So basically 2 CP, a unit of Terminators or Rubric Marines can heroically intervene. You would probably do it with Terminators because they can fight in combat. The Rubric Marines can't really. 2 CP, probably not going to use it. Risen Rubricare. Use a stratagem when you set up a Rubric Marines unit from your army during deployment. That unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches from enemy deployment zone and any enemy models. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. So that's going to be very, very good. If you know you're going first, obviously your opponent could seize on you. You can set them up, right in the middle of the board, 9 inches away from the deployment zone. And of course, if you stay still, not only do you get Bolt of Discipline to fire a full effective range 24, you can then use Infernal Fusillade to fire again. If you put a big squad of Rubric Marines, like 15 Rubric Marines, all with bolters, down with that, and then use Infernal Fusillade, combined with the fact that you would get a Veterans of the Long War for +1 to wound on their bolters, is going to be mental. Like, you could easily wipe out a couple of units with that. And of course, if you fly a Demon Prince up there or a Sorcerer to get them within range, you reroll them once to hit as well. I think that's decent. What else have we got? Sorcerer's Infusion. After resolving a psychic power manifested by a Thousand Sun model from your army, if the result of the psychic test for that power was 9 or higher, doesn't say unmodified, if that model's unit contains any models that have lost any wounds, select one of those models to regain up to D3 lost wounds. Otherwise, if any models in that unit have been destroyed, you can return one of those models to the battlefield with all of its 1 CP to get 1 Marine back is probably not worth it, but with the Terminators, it's quite possibly worth it. Apostle Sven, Cult of Manipulation is the weakest from all 9. Cult of Magic is strong when you soup. I will go for Cult of Time and Duplicity. Yeah, the Cult of Magic I thought was definitely the best one. Doing the extra mortal wounds for the Warlord trait with +1, and then of course the spell itself is actually pretty decent. Duplicity, which one was Duplicity? Time. Time's okay, but I wasn't too fussed on it. And Duplicity... Yeah, I suppose to take the relic, you spend a command point, take the relic, you're getting command points back on a 4+ then. It's not a bad shout, actually. The psychic power is very, very handy to have, just to redeploy a unit. Indomitable Foes. When a Rubric Marine squad or Scarab Occult Terminator from your army is chosen as the target of attack, until the end of the phase, improve the unit's invulnerable save by 1. That's good. That's really good. Now, of course, that can stack with All Is Dust. So, for example, if someone's hitting you with like -2 or 3 with 1 damage, you're on a 4-up invuln on your rubrics anyway. You pop that, you're suddenly on a 3-up invuln. Which I think is pretty decent, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. And Adepts of the Immaterium. Use this stratagem if a 1,000 Sun Psyker from your army would suffer perils of the warp. That Psyker does not suffer perils of the warp. That's handy. So you don't even have to risk re-rolling a 1. You just go, nope, I'm not going to peril. And then you cast another psychic test and go, oh yeah, I'm going to command point re-roll that. It's handy to have that. I think that is actually quite useful. You're not always going to use it, obviously, if you're getting your psychic powers off, but I think that's probably going to be quite handy. Apostle Sven says you could combo the spell from Cult of Magic with the stratagem, so you could get wounds 3+1 models back on a 9+. Very, very handy. Very handy. So I think Thousand Suns are certainly gonna have a bit more punch for certain. I'm actually quite looking forward to having a go of Bryn's myself, and hopefully I can show you guys, even more of the new stratagems off. Next up, though, the Grey Knights. Do you guys think the Grey Knights stand a chance now? Is what we've got here enough? So they don't get doctrines, right? They don't get doctrines, but they do get access to one of 4. I don't even know what you would call them. Sanctity, I guess. So you've got Tide of Fury. Whilst this tide is dominant, when resolving an attack made with a Nemesis weapon by an infantry model with this ability, you can reroll wound rolls of a 1. It's pretty handy. It is good. Tide of Convergence. Whilst this tide is dominant, add 1 to the strength and damage characteristic of psi weapons that infantry models are equipped with. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's only the Silencer. I don't think there's many other psi weapons that are actually available. So unless you're running, is it Purifiers or Purgigators that are basically a Devastator squad, and you take like 4 Silencer cannons? Nah. They're going to be okay. They're just not Silencer and side cannons. Yeah. It's not enough. It's still not enough. Tide of Shadows. So a unit does not receive the benefit of cover while it is not entirely on or within the terrain feature. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against a unit with this ability while it is entirely on or within a terrain feature, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. It's okay. It's too Raven Guard. And then Tide of Escalation. I think this is the one that you're going to see the most of, right? Whilst this tide is dominant, when a unit with this ability and the Rite of Banishment ability manifests a smite sighted power and it is not resisted, that power inflicts 1 additional mortal wound on the target. I like that. If you use 1 stratagem on a unit, the Stormbolters get affected. What? So they become silencer weapons? Is that what you mean? Because if Stormbolters become silencer weapons, I think it makes them strength 5 -1. If that affects them, then that suddenly makes them strength 6 -1, 2 damage. Grey Knights can make Stormbolters strength 6 AP, 2 damage too. Wow, yes. I think that's going to be pretty tasty then. It certainly helps. It really, really helps. If you're running a lot of bolters, then I think that is probably quite useful. But the +1 damage on the smite, I think, is very, very good. Not much else changed for them. They didn't get access to hardly anything. Chaplains got updated to get litanies. But they have their own litanies. And a handful of stratagems. And a handful of relics, of course. And a new psychic discipline. So there is actually quite a bit for these. I'm not going to go over all of the stratagems because a lot of them are cut and paste from the Space Marine book. For example, Transhuman Physiology, Vengeance and Machine Spirit, Overwhelming Assault. No, that's not it. There's a couple. Duty Eternal. Things like that. So we'll have a quick look through them. Masters of Combat. When a Grey Knight Paladin army from your unit has not been chosen to fight with this phase, is chosen as the target of an attack until the end of the phase when a model in that unit is destroyed. Then before the model is removed from play, it can fight as if it has been chosen to fight. That's handy, but for 2 CP, Paladins are already really expensive anyway. You'd have to have a big squad to even make it worth it, and you'd have to, they'd have to take some damage, or you'd have to put them against something that they might die. Overwhelming Assault. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. Select a Nemesis Dread Knight unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of that unit. And when resolving an attack made with a model in the unit, you can re-roll a wound roll of a 1, and you can re-roll a damage roll of a 1. That's good. Now it says Nemesis Dread Knight keyword, which means your Grandmaster in Dread Knight can access this. And correct me if I'm wrong, does he give re-roll 1s to hit? I'm not massively up on Grey Knights, but if it does, that's actually pretty. That's pretty decent. Dynamic Insertion. Use the stratagem when a Grey Knight unit from your army is set on the battlefield using the Teleport Strike ability. You can set that unit up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 3 inches away from enemy models instead of 9. However, you cannot charge. A lot of units do. A lot of armies do have things like this, like Genestealer Cult have it to pop up 3 inches away. So that's pretty decent, I think. Bring Down the Beast. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase after shooting with a Grey Knight unit from your army. Select 1 enemy vehicle or monster unit that was chosen as the target for the unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in a friendly Grey Knight unit against that enemy unit, you can re-roll wound rolls. That's good. So shoot something at it first, and then pop your Storm Bolters with the +1 strength AP at 2 damage, and then also you re-roll them wounds then. So it's strength 6, re-roll them wounds as well for 2 damage apiece. You put that on a big squad of 5 to 10 Storm Bolters, that's going to be pretty decent. Big guns never tire, same as the Space Marine one. Fury of the Proven. Use this stratagem in any phase. Select 1 Grey Knight Terminator unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, add 1 to the hit rolls. That's pretty decent. Again, Paladins have the Terminator keyword. +1 to hit on all of them Storm Bolters. And then, of course, you use the Psi ammo to give them an extra minus AP and strength. And then if you've gone for the Tide that gives you the +1 strength anyway, like that's good. That's like really good. So if you combine the +1 to hit and then bring down the Beast, you could hurt Knights. Yes, it's a lot of CP, and that is what Grey Knights struggle with. You need a double battalion at minimum. Powerful Adept. Select 1 Grey Knight Psychic unit from your army with a Relic of Banishment ability, Rites of Banishment ability. Until the end of that phase, the range of the psychic powers that unit manifests is increased by 6. That's okay. You probably want to put that on someone like Voldus. Duty Eternal. Use this stratagem when a Grey Knight Dreadnought unit from your army is chosen as an attack. Oh, it's half the damage. Fight on the move. Select a Grey Knight Interceptor squad unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, that unit can be chosen to shoot with and charge with, even if it fell back. Very handy. Empiric Surge. Use this stratagem in the Psychic phase after a Grey Knight Psychic unit from your army has manifested a power. Until the end of the phase, when a Psychic test is taken for a friendly Grey Knight Psychic unit within 6 inches, add 1 to the total. Right, so what you do here, okay, you cast Smite with one of your squads, and then if you've got, for example, Voldus within 6 inches of that squad, and Drago or a Librarian, they suddenly then get +1. There is absolutely no reason not to use that. That's pretty tasty. I think that's very good. But again, the issue is this does not fix Grey Knights, right? The issue with Grey Knights is they are too expensive and they rely on stratagems too much, because although these are cool, it's not enough. It's not. This does not compare to Doctrines. These are cool, but it doesn't fix it. Why do Thousand Suns have 24-inch 1 damage smite, right? For sorcerers. But then the Grey Knights only have it at range 12 when you've got a sorcerer in a squad of Rubric Marines, or you've got 5 Psychic Marines. Why aren't the Psychic Marines better? I don't know. I really don't know. There we go anyway. Redoubtable Defense uses stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when a Terminator unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack. If it contains 5 models or fewer, the stratagem costs 1 CP. Otherwise, the stratagem costs 2. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against that unit, subtract 1 from the damage. Why does it need to be 2 CP? No one's going to be running that many Terminators, or they're going to drop 10 of them in, hit like a train, and then they're going to lose them. 2 CP is too much for it. Steady Advance. You can counter staying still for the purposes of Bolt of Discipline. Untainted and Unbowed. Purifier Squad. Until the end of the turn, models in that unit have a 4+ invulnerable save. It's okay. And you auto pass morale. Preternatural Senses. Use this on a Purgation Squad. When they fire Overwatch until the end of that phase. When resolving Overwatch, models in the unit hit on a roll of a 4 to a 6. Wow. Phil 05, okay, just tuned in. Where are we in the book? So we've covered Thousand Suns. We're looking at Grey Knights now, then we're going back over to Dark Angels. If you do want to catch up with it, Phil, the video will be on YouTube later. We're currently on YouTube as well at the moment. So we've got the new Psychic Discipline as well as new relics. So let's have a quick look. Warp Shaping has a casting value of 5. Select a Tide of the Warp that is not dominant. The currently dominant Tide of the Warp is changed to the selected one. Wow. That's actually pretty good. So if you build your army in like a 2-stage kind of strike force, you know, if you're dropping your Terminators or your Inceptor squads in turn 2, you probably want Tide of Convergence on turn 2. But Tide of Escalation on turn 1, the extra mortal wounds, that's actually quite handy. So do all your mortal wounds first, and then near the end of the Psychic phase, cast that, and then change it to the other one. And then in turn 2, you drop down, you smash all your bolters. Or you could even wait till turn 2, actually. Change that in your Psychic phase, because your Terminators are already down. It's already changed, then your bolters are suddenly doing more weapons when you use that Psi Ammunition stratagem. Armored Resilience, casting value of 6. Select a Grey Knight infantry unit within 12. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, subtract 1 from the wound rolls. That's pretty tasty. Ethereal Manipulation has a casting value of 7. Select a Grey Knight unit within 6. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit in the shooting phase against a unit that is within half range, you can re-roll the hit roll. That's fair. Actually, it is okay, but if you're a Grey Knight player, aren't you running Drago anyway? I don't know. That one's a little bit... Edict Imperator has a casting value of 7. Select a friendly Grey Knight unit within 12. That unit can shoot as if it was your shooting phase, and then make a move as if it was your movement phase. That's cool. This unit cannot shoot again this turn or charge move. That's still not bad. So what you do is you hide behind some line of sight blocking terrain with all them storm bolters, right? You move out, you cast that on them, you shoot, and then you move back behind the building, and then they're safe for the rest of that turn. So they're number 4 in the world, ITC. Doesn't. Sorry, what was that, Phil? I didn't follow that. The dominance discipline, only characters can take it. Ah, right, yeah. All Grey Knight character models in a Grey Knight detachment, no psychic powers from the dominance discipline. Instead of generating psychic powers from the sanctic discipline. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're probably running, you know, at least 4 characters as a Grey Knight player. Use Drago. Oh, right, fair enough. Fair enough. Empyrean Domination. Cast from over 7, gain a command point. I don't think Grey Knights have a way of farming command points, and to be honest, with all the CP that you're going to be relying on, I think that's actually pretty important. Bearing in mind, right, so what you do is this one. So Empyric Surge, right? You have a character behind your squad, you cast Smite or something with your squad, right? And then suddenly your characters within 6 inches have all got that +1. Suddenly you only need to roll a 6 to get the command point. I think somebody, if you play Grey Knights, I think everybody is going to have a character with that. 5 characters, do you mean, Creepy Deanie? Also, Grey Knight's chapter trait is +1 psychic test, and of course, this is because I'm not a Grey Knight player. So yeah, that becomes a 5, which is even better. Yeah, that's fantastic. I don't want a Grey Knight's army now. No, I'm not getting no more armies, guys. I've got like 18, 40k armies. It's too much. No more for me. And then Inner Fire has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one enemy unit within an inch of this Psyker and roll a number of d6 equal to the result of the psychic test. For each roll of a 1, you suffer a mortal wound, but for each 3+, the enemy suffers a mortal wound. That's pretty decent. I think between those psychic powers, being able to change what tide you've got in effect, and with these stratagems, I think it's given Grey Knights a new lease of life. I think it definitely has. But it certainly does not put them up there with Space Marine. It doesn't. It just doesn't. The core rules of Grey Knights need changing. All of this is all well and good, and it's cool, right? But the fact that you're relying on psychic powers to get command points, and psychic powers to change your, essentially, chapter traits, and then you're relying on stratagems to make anything in your army half decent, that's a problem. The thing that annoys me about Grey Knights, right, and I used to play Tom a lot back in 7th edition. Now, Tom doesn't play 40k anymore, but he was a Grey Knight player through and through, right? And if you watch any of the 7th edition battle reports that are on YouTube, you'll know who Tom is, right? And I loved Grey Knights because it was just deep strike everywhere. It was like, doosh, 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 bang, we're here. The problem, and it's an 8th edition rule, that it is causing Grey Knights to suck, right? And I find this with Blood Angels as well. Not so much, but I do see the issues. Grey Knights are a very quick deploy, manoeuvrable force, or that's how they were in 7th. In 8th edition, you've got to have enough on the board to survive a turn of shooting and actually do something back on turn 1. You're keeping half your army off to then deploy later in turn 2, right? By which point you've already lost half of what you deployed in turn 1 anyway. You then can't cast Gate of Infinity multiple times like you used to be able to get that manoeuvrability. And casting the psychic powers only once hinders Grey Knights. Only being able to destrike half your army hinders Grey Knights. Relying on stratagems and psychic powers hinders Grey Knights. I think there's a very, very, I think, finesse way to play them. And I know Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics loves these Grey Knights, and I think Lawrence can probably make this work, but I think it's very, very complex. There's so much to remember here, so much that you're relying on. You've got to have the right positioning. You've got to know what you're doing with that half of the army that's off the board. You've got to know what you're doing with the half that's on the board. It's hard work. Like, it's really hard work. Thomas has just joined us on Twitch. Thank you very much for tuning in, Thomas. Hope you're well, man. Relics of Titan, Nemesis Force Sword that becomes 3 damage, and you can't take invulnerable saves if you're a demon. Worth pointing out that Avatar is a demon, and so a Drukhari Chimera. Sanctic Shard. When taking a Sanctic test for a model with this relic, you can re-roll the result. Add 1 to the total for Sanctic test taken for a model with this relic. Right, there you go. So you take a character with that, right? You use Empiric Surge on a squad that's just cast something really basic, or I can't remember the one that's +1 to your invuln. Cast that, right, with the squad in front of the character. Use that stratagem, right? And then suddenly, with that, you're at +3. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Voldus can cast 3, I think. Get a command point back on you, then casting it on a 4. And you can re-roll a failed test. Voldus can't take it because he's a named character. A librarian. Still, it's there. And then, of course, you only technically need a 2 to change your Psychic Discipline. So I think that's very, very good. When resolving attack made with a Nemesis weapon by friendly Grey Knights units within 6 inches of a model with this relic, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. It's okay. Stave of Supremacy replaces a Nemesis Warden Stave. When a Psychic test is taken for enemy models within 18 inches of this relic, the enemy model suffers a perils on any roll of a double. That's cool. Artisan Nullifier Matrix is a librarian only. Once per turn, when a Psychic test is taken for a friendly Grey Knight unit within 6 inches of a model with this relic, you can increase or decrease by 1 the value shown on 1 dice. Do Grey Knights have access to the stratagem that allows you to take a second relic? Because if you've got 2 characters hiding behind a squad, you know what I mean? You can add. So you've got +1 for being Grey Knights, +1 for the Sanctic Shard, +1 for that stratagem, and then a further +1 here. You're getting +4, right? And is Vortex still a Psychic power? I think Vortex of Doom. A second relic will cost 3 CP. But I thought you got one free anyway, and then you pay 1 CP for another one. So is the new Space Marine one 1 CP for each relic? Because I know the Blood Angels one, for example, is still 3 CP to take an additional 2 relics. But still, you're paying 1 command point to take that. If you want 3 relics, you pay 3. I think taking, them 2, it's worth the CP to get that off on a 3. And you can re-roll as well. I think giving your big caster the Sanctic Shard is a must. Because it's not re-roll 1 Psychic test, it's just re-roll the results of the Psychic tests. I think the Sanctic Shard's brilliant. And then we've got the litanies for the chaplains. So obviously this is at the start of the battle round, which is hard to get used to if people aren't used to it. If the litany is inspiring, when a friendly Grey Knight unit within 6 of this model would lose a wound as a result of mortal wound, it's the same as the Space Marine one. So this one lets you re-roll the damage when it's got a random damage characteristic. When resolving attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in that unit, ignore hit rolls. That is good. That's very good against Eldar Flyer spam. I mean, you're going to smite it anyway, but that's really good. Yeah. Bright Flame is now following. Thank you very much for the follow, Bright Flame. We've got Refrain of Convergence. Then when you deny the witch test for this model, so your chaplain has to do it, add 3 to the total. That's very good. But the problem with the litanies I find is that there's 2 or 3 that you want, and then there's 2 or 3 that are good that you fancy, but you won't give up the other ones. And I find that with all of them. Recitation of Projection. Bright Flame just subscribed as well. Thank you very much for the subscription, Bright Flame. We really do appreciate it. Have your Prime. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, guys, if you do have Amazon Prime, you can support us on Twitch. You get a free subscription from Amazon Prime each month. So that does help us support the channel. So thank you very much as well, guys. And just on that note as well, if you do want access to early battle reports, exclusive content, one above all, AD is now following. Thank you very much, man. But you have to manually sub each month. Yes, you do. But if anybody would like to support the channel further, you can support us by Patreon. You get early access to battle reports. You see a weekly show that I've just started up behind the scenes, showing you everything that I've been painting and that Lucy's been working on as well. We do once a month exclusive Patreon battle reports as well. And you get your name at the front of the videos, and at the end of all of the credits, you have the opportunity to take part in any of the podcasts that we do. And once you've donated a total of $60 through Patreon, you get a Dark Artisan t-shirt in the colour of your choice as well. So, yes, if you are able to do so, guys, please support us by Patreon. It enables us to keep growing the channel, adding to the armies, and, of course, getting new terrain and battle mats and stuff as well. So that's Grey Knights. Grey Knights, I think they definitely went up a level. I don't think the bottom tier anymore. I think they're probably quite good, just based on what I've gone through there. I think there is hope. There is definitely hope. And as a Patreon, you also get access to the Patreon chat on Facebook. There's a lot of guys in there, some really, really good guys, and there's always somebody there offering advice. Several of the other channel content creators and guys that you see on the channel regular, Ian, Bryn, Ollie, Stephen, Jake, they're all in there as well. So, Sons of the Lion, the good bit. Now, I'm going to go on record, and this is absolutely fine, and say, Master Lazarus does not have any points in this book. Bad GW. Bad GW. However, Ian was going to use this in the battle report, right? And when he was building his list, he was like, Harry, there's no points for Lazarus in here. I was like, that's not right. So I emailed GW to the email address that tells me regarding any previews that I may be getting. And I questioned it. I says, look, I know that it normally needs to go to the FAQ team, but just so you know, it needs addressing because the points are not in here. Anyway, they actually replied yesterday and told me that Lazarus is actually 105 points. Phil, they posted today he's 105. Yeah, so the guy who I speak to actually said, look, don't reveal it until the reveal time that you're allowed, which is why in the video when Ian was talking about it, I actually put it up on screen saying Games Workshop confirmed he's 105 points. No, there's no points for the Dark Angel hero in the Dark Angel book, Dave. Yep, that's how it is. So, Sons of the Lion have been updated. They've got access to litanies now, so I'm not going to go through litanies. You guys know what they all do. Where is the rules for it, though? Bolt of Discipline, Shock or Not, Assault, Angels of Death, and They Shall Know No Fear. Let's have a quick look. It doesn't say it here. I can't think where it is, but I'll find it. But I'll tell you what, let's have a look at Master Lazarus, right? So, of course, he's a typical Primaris captain in all essence. The enemy's edge is +2 strength, -4 and D3 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon against a Psyker, you can reroll wound rolls and reroll the damage roll. Pretty good. The Spirit Shield Helm. When a model in a friendly Dark Angels unit within 6 inches of this model would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result. If this model would be the one that loses a wound, and on a 5+, the wound is not lost. That's really, really good. And considering he's a captain at 105 points, I think he's pretty good. Of course, right to battle, so you can reroll hit rolls of a 1. When this model is destroyed within an inch of enemy units, it can immediately fight as if it were the fight phase before being removed from player. This is not cumulative with any Astartes banner, or only in Death Does Duty End stratagem. So, yeah. Interrogator chaplains are the same now as essentially Space Marine chaplains, apart from they've got Aura of Dread, and of course they've got access to the Dark Angel special litany, which we'll go over a little bit later. Actually, they've all got the Deathwing keyword as well. Primaris Chaplain, Interrogator Chaplain, Terminator Armor, Master and Phobos Armor. Everything else that is listed in here is the all of the Phobos stuff that was updated in Shadow Spear last year. Same as the Blood Angel book, most of it is copy and pasted. You've got to have seen it before. Asmodai got updated to show that he can do litanies. He cannot do 2 litanies, contrary to what people are thinking. However, he does know 2, whereas other chaplains only know the 1. So, it is an option. It is an option. The new Intercessor Squad update, Incursor Infiltrator. I'm not going to go over these guys. You know what they all do, right? So, Grim Resolve did not change. You still get reroll hit rolls of a 1 if you stay still, and you don't lose more than 1 model. I'm a little bit annoyed at that still. I think they should have added 3 different rules for Deathwing and Ravenwing, like what the Dark Eldar Codex is. That's what I would have done. Okay? So, for example, Ravenwing can reroll hit rolls of a 1 if they move. Even that alone would make it a little bit better, right? But there we go. However, Relentless Hunt. Whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active, the range characteristics of all heavy and rapid-fire weapons is increased by 6 inches. And the range characteristic of all assault and pistol weapons is increased by 3. And Ian pointed out, right, this means Hellblasters are range 36. They've got rapid fire at 18 inches, which is massive. It also means that your Stalker Bolt rifles are now range 42, and your Storm Cannons are now range 24 on your Leviathans. That's big. That's really big. Even your normal Intercessor Space Marines now have rapid fire at 18 inches as well. And Intercessors aren't a joke. They're still pretty good. 42 on the heavy. Yeah, but nobody takes the heavy plasma because you'd rather just rapid fire at 18. Well, 15, but now 18. It's so good. Like, one of the better custom chapter rules in the Space Marine Codex was an extra 3 inches to heavy weapons. The fact that it's +6 is ridiculously big. That's 15-inch range heavy flamers. That's like that's huge. Like, wow. It's so good. You don't even realise that all the rapid fire weapons are suddenly just have an extra 3 inches. 30-inch on the Leviathan. I thought not the storm cannons, the Gravflux Bombard, I'm thinking, sorry. 6 inches an extra move for more things. Exactly. So, I mean, even if you do move, and then you've still got another 6 inches on top of that, like, it's big. It's such a big difference. And like I said, just the extra 3 inches for the rapid fire, it's massive. I mean, bolter discipline on your normal bolt rifles at range 36. You're getting 2 shots with every bolt rifle at range 36. That is incredible. It's so... Honestly, Ian was... Like, when I first read it, I was like, whatever, it's okay. But when Ian actually went, no, it's good, it's this good, and it does this. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's really, really good. Always do have sat with the Lieutenant, Banner, and Doridio in cover. Always does me well. Yeah, Ian sits with the Banner and Lieutenant and Azrael, which he did in the Battle Report, of course. 3 inches big. It's why my ex left me. yeah. So, obviously, plus 6 inches is massive. Yeah, it's so good. And one unique litany Dark Angel got is from done on a unit, and I'll get to that. But yeah, it's really, really good. The stratagems as well. Again, I'm not going to go over all of these guys, right? There is a lot of stuff in here that is specific to the Spaceman Codex that they've brought over. So, for example, Veteran Intercessors, Duty Eternal, Rapid Fire, Hunter Slayer Missile, I think Bolt Storm as well. Yeah, auto bolt rifles. High Speed Focus, though. This is a Dark Angel one. That with a big unit of aggressors is amazing. It's only plus 3 inches on aggressors, though. Oh, the didn't advance. Yeah, Ian mentioned that, but because he was going to have Lazarus in to give him the 5 up, but when he knew he was fighting Thousand Suns, he chose the litany, which was ignore mortal wounds on a 5, rather than the counter stand still, because he did have 3 aggressors in his list. But yeah, use this stratagem when a Raven Wing unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack made with a ranged weapon until the start of your next movement phase. Models in that unit benefit from the Jink ability even if they didn't advance. That's really good. That helps out so much. Big Guns Never Tire, Vengeance of the Machine Spirit, target sighted, are all Space Marine ones. Fury of the First, use a stratagem in any phase. Select one Deathwing Terminator unit from your army, and until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a model in that unit, add 1 to the hit roll. That's good. That's pretty good. Again, even just dropping down with Stormbolters, it's good. But then if you're fighting with Deathwing Knights, which unfortunately, if you've seen the battle report, Ian didn't get to do, that would have been very, very good. Steady Advance, counter Stand Still. Hero of the Chapter, you can take a second Warlord trait. Gene Wrought Might, Stand Firm. Deathwing Knights count as being Toughness 5. 30-inch Rapid Fire normal bolters. Yeah, and 36-inch Rapid Fire bolt rifles. So it's good. It's very good. Target and Guidance. Select one enemy unit within 12 of and visible to a Raven Wing land speeder unit from your army until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made with a model in a friendly Dark Angels unit, against that you can re-roll the hit roll. That's handy if you're further afield and you're not in your Azrael castle. If you've got a land speeder up there with your Raven Wing, let your Plasma Talons on your Black Knights re-roll hits for 1 CP. That's really good. Full Throttle. Use this stratagem in your moving phase after moving a Raven Wing unit from your army. You can make a second move with that unit, but it can't advance if it has not already advanced this turn. That unit cannot shoot or charge this turn. It's good for getting around. It's very good for getting around. Tipton Sim. That T5 strat combined with Fortress of Shields -1 to wound is powerful. That must be in the normal book because I don't have that. Obviously, Ian's our Dark Angel player. But yeah, I imagine that'll be very, very good. Yeah, I imagine that is pretty good for a big unit of knights to drop them in 6 inches away. And if you get the charge off, they're going to hurt. They are going to hurt. Transhuman Physiology is copied over. Adaptive Strategy copied over so you can turn back a Doctrine. Evasive Assault. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Ravenwing biker unit from your army that made a charge move or was chosen as an attack. Until the end of that phase, the model has a 5 invulnerable save. That kept Ian alive. For 1 CP, it's pretty good. Outnumbered but never outmatched. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Deathwing unit from your army is chosen to fight with. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic as well. That's big for Deathwing. And then Honoured of the Rock. Basically take an extra relic. Or if you're a successor chapter, you can take a Dark Angel relic. Obscuration Discipline, it's all the Phobos stuff. I'm not going to go over it, guys. You know where it is. You know where it is. The Vanguard Warlord traits, again, I'm not going to touch. You know what they are. But the Deathwing and Ravenwing Warlord traits, this is handy. And I do like that they've done this, like what they do with the Dark Eldar Codex. But they should have had more rules for Grim Resolve for Deathwing and for Ravenwing. That any Deathwing unit. Just a sec. Outnumbered but never outmatched. Use this strategy in the fight phase when a Deathwing unit from your army is chosen to fight with. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of models in that unit. If that unit targets an enemy unit containing 10 or more models. But yes, it is any Deathwing unit. So, the Deathwing and Ravenwing Warlord traits, we've got reroll wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons against characters or units with a wound characteristic of 8 or more by friendly Deathwing units whilst they're within 6 inches of this Warlord. That's pretty cool. Combine that with these stratagems, it's pretty decent. Inexorable. When resolving attack made with this Warlord, an unmodified wound roll of 1, 2, or 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that weapon or model making the attack may have. So he's got Transhuman Physiology. Watched. Once per battle in your opponent's psychic phase, the Warlord can attempt to resist a psychic power, even if your Warlord is not within 24. When taking the Deny the Witcher test, do not roll the dice. It is automatically passed. Still, those big blob units ain't gonna last long against knights with all these strats. No. Nope. Not at all. Ravenwing has the best Warlord traits. Well, we'll move on to the Ravenwing ones now. Whilst they are within 6 inches of this Warlord, models in a Ravenwing unit from your army do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons or for advancing and firing assault weapons. That's pretty good, considering the Plasma Talons are assault weapons. So suddenly you can advance and still shoot them and only kill yourself on 1s instead of 1s and 2s. That's pretty good. Tactically flexible. Once per battle at the start of the battle round, you can select a combat doctrine that is not currently active until the end of the battle round. When resolving an attack made with a model in a friendly Ravenwing unit within 6 inches of the Warlord, you can treat the chosen doctrine as being active instead of the currently active doctrine. That's actually pretty good. Black Knights with hammers. And then Outrider. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, this Warlord and 1 other Ravenwing unit from your army can move up to 12 inches as if it was your movement phase. They can't advance as part of this. These units must move more than 9 inches away from enemy models. If both players have units that can move before the first turn begins, then the player who is taking the first turn gets to choose first. So that's cool. Relics of Caliban. Ravenwing biker model only. Worsen the invulnerable save of enemy units by 1 to a minimum of 6 whilst they're within 3 inches of this relic. Cool. Corvus Oculus, Ravenwing Talon Master model only, adds 6 inches to the range characteristic of ranged weapons a model with this relic is equipped with, and when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model with this, add 1 to the hit rolls. That's okay. Shame the Forge World Speeders don't get Ravenwing keyword. Wow. Yeah, they should really. Forge World 40k is annoying at the moment because they just simply... It wouldn't take much to update. I mean, all of the Eldar and the Tau stuff and... made 4 of them worse and the others kind of better. Yeah. Standard of the Unforgiving Hunt. Add 1 to the advance and charge rolls for friendly Ravenwing whilst they're within 6 inches of a model with that. It's cool. It's alright. Blade of Burden. Deathwing Master with a power sword. Strength +2, -4, 2 damage. When resolving an attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 2 mortal wounds on the target and the attack sequence ends. So that's cool. Pennant of Remembrance is the Deathwing Ancient model only. Deathwing Infantry within 6. Model within 6 of a model with this. Yeah, so it's basically the Standard of Sacrifice from the Blood Angel one. And Key of Acrobale, Deathwing model only. Add 1 to the Strength and Attack characteristic. It's okay. It's okay. Special issue War Gear, same as the Space Marine ones. The litanies are the same as the Space Marine ones. Apart from Stoic Prosecution. If this litany is inspiring, then when a friendly Dark Angels infantry unit that is within 6 inches of this unit and did not advance or fall back this turn is chosen to shoot, models in that unit can shoot with the ranged weapons as if they had remained stationary. So there we go. You do that on your aggressors. You move your aggressors forward. You do that on them at the start of the battle round. You move your aggressors forward. They double tapping at range 21. That's awesome. The Flamers for them would then be range 12 as well. So that is pretty tasty as well. So that is Ritual of the Damned. So I hope you have enjoyed me reading through it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat right now, and I'll spend a few minutes answering some questions. And then we're going to be heading off YouTube. If you are watching us live now, make sure that you stick around on Twitch. I will be doing a little bit of a paint session on Twitch for another couple of hours. But if anybody has any questions, please let me know, and I'll answer them as best as I can. For you, but I hope you have enjoyed that. It was a little bit different to me just sitting with the camera pointing at the book. I wanted to show you guys off a battle report this morning, and then of course I've sat down and gone through the book with you guys as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the fact that it was a little bit different rather than just, like I said, me camera pointing at the book and me talking. So, but remember, if you would like to see more Thousand Sons, tune in to Twitch on Monday night. We'll be live streaming the game whilst filming the battle report as well. So, yeah. Have I got the Tau versus Death Guard one yet? 1, no. 2, even if I did, I couldn't tell you. And 3, I don't get preview stuff till normally the Friday, which means that I have to do everything on the Friday night to release it for the Saturday. So, no, I don't have it, Tom. But like I said, even if I did, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Tau versus Death Guard one. Of course, I'll be playing Tau, and Ian will be using the Death Guard. As much as I would love to use my Death Guard, and I really want to use them, me and Stephen are the only Tau players, and he plays Farsight anyway. And obviously there's a couple of Death Guard players anyway. There's Nathan, there's Ian. So, you know, there's a few Death Guard players around, yourself as well, Tom. So, hey, what up? Vince, we are literally just finishing off. But if you head on over to Twitch, we are going to be continuing the live stream with a little bit of a paint session. Looking forward to one with Knights in. Or Ian's Knights. Yeah. We need to get Ian's Knights back on the channel, to be honest. That'll be a fun watch, man. Jesus, they don't like giving you a lot of time. No, they don't. They really don't. I assumed so. Yeah, it's going pretty well, though, Vince. But like I said, if you head on over to Twitch, we'll be closing the YouTube stream off in a few moments. I'm going to have a very quick toilet break and grab a fresh drink. And then we'll be back to paint. Who knows what up? I don't know what I'm going to be painting tonight. I haven't got any plans on anything in particular. The only thing that I have to work on for the next couple of weeks is some Varangard for Age of Sigmar. I've got 9 of these bad boys that I need to do in total. But we can work on anything. We can work on absolutely anything. So if nobody else has any questions on YouTube, guys, thank you very, very much for joining us. Head on over to Twitch right now. The guys on Twitch, stay with me for a few more minutes. Like I said, I'm going to be taking a very quick toilet break. And I'll be back in a few moments. But the guys on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you again very soon, guys.